The director went back to looking out at the sea, just in time to see Grim fly off towards the island on a large flying reptilian creature. This is actually turning out quite well, even though I wanted to eat that devil fruit. Once those four get back, I will have in my hands the ultimate weapon. Convincing a child to help me should be a piece of cake. They are pretty stupid anyway. Then with the government's ultimate assassin team and the most powerful zone, I will rule the world. Wahahahahaha, he laughed to himself. Damn, why do I have to carry the kid? Because I said so, Shakian, Jennifer said. Does the director really expect me to carry this kid all the way back to the base? Yes. You are a real bitch and the director is a bastard, he retorted. Shut up, Shakian, Jennifer replied, getting even more annoyed with the man. You two act like a married couple, Apollo commented. Suddenly Jennifer tensed and stopped walking. Shakian didn't see this and walked right into her. What the hell, Jennifer, warn us before you stop. What's wrong, Jennifer, the old man asked. There are four voices heading right for us. What? Both men yelled. What do we do? You two go on ahead, I'll deal with them, she said as her right hand began to turn black. On the northern side of the island, Nami and Sanji found nothing on the whereabouts of Naruto or Luffy. Well, that is until Sanji felt Naruto's presence. Once he locked onto it, they began to run towards the northwestern shore. Sanji-kun, are you sure they're this way? Yes, Nami-swan, Naruto is this way, though I cannot say the same for that rubber idiot. Don't worry about Luffy, I'm sure he's fine. It's Naruto I'm worried about. You said there were 3 other presences with him. Yes, and they aren't with us. Let's hurry. Hi, Nami-swan, the cook swooned. On the western side of the island, Zoro and Robin had concluded their search. Of course, Zoro's sense of direction didn't help at all. Mil ojos fleur. Robin said as she crossed her arms and closed her eyes. Using her powers, Robin sprouted 1,000 eyes all over the island, scanning quickly for Naruto. Gotcha, she said. Zoro, Naruto's this way. She pointed north of their location. What makes you so sure about that, Robin? Zoro asked. Call it maternal instincts, she replied with her usual half smile. Besides, I just saw him. Zoro smirked at her last comment. So you see yourself as the kid's mother? Yes. Good, cause I feel the same way. You feel like his mother? Not that on the other one. The swordsman growled. Zoro, I didn't know you were the fatherly type. Don't act so surprised, Robin, and don't tell anyone what I said or I'll gut you. Understood, she said as they took off towards Naruto, or in Zoro's case, God knows where. Zoro, that's the wrong way. Damn, he said as he turned around to follow her. Jennifer stood still and waited for the interlopers. They were still coming in quickly from both sides. This did not worry her. She felt calm and collected. Apollo and Shakian should be at the shore by now. Her thoughts were interrupted by 2 loud crashes. I see a beautiful woman. A blonde-haired man yelled as he burst through the trees. Whack! The orange-haired woman that was with him knocked him upside the head. Shut up, Sanji, she could be an enemy. Jennifer turned her attention towards the other 2. Where's Naruto? The black-haired woman asked in a deadly serious tone. Who are you and who are you working for? The green-haired swordsman demanded as he pointed one of his swords at her. 3 swords? He must be Rarano Zoro, then that means these are the Straw Hat Pirates. And if that kid's name is Naruto, then we may be in over our heads. My name is Jennifer. I take it you 4 came to get the brat. Damn right we did. Now where is he? Nami demanded. My partners have him. If you want to get to them, you'll have to go through me, she said. Check. Each of the pirates readied for a fight. 4 against 1 seems unfair, however neither side knew how strong the other was. Soru, and shave, whip. Jennifer vanished from sight. The pirates were slightly shocked by that move. They had seen it done before, namely by a certain group of individuals. Whip. She reappeared in front of Nami, her right hand in an upward swiping motion. In combat it is normal to take out the weakest opponents first. Nami swan, the other 3 yelled. Clang. Nami blocked the strike with her staff. Just because I'm cute doesn't mean I'm weak. Jennifer remained silent as she brought her right leg up and began to rotate on her left leg, clearly going for a kick to Nami's head. Rankaiku, and Tempest kick. Nami felt herself get pulled to the ground, barely dodging the deadly kick. Slash! The wave of compressed air sliced through the trees behind the navigator. That was a close one, thanks, Robin. That didn't stop Jennifer as she brought her leg back around for another kick. Rankaiku Jirichin, and guillotine. Clang! This time she was intercepted by none other than Zoro, giving the navigator time to get away. Interesting moves Ugadi said. He then noticed that she closed all he fingers on her right hand except the index figure. Not only that, but her hand was black and the figure seemed pointed. Shigun, an finger gun, blam. Jennifer found her finger embedded in the ground. Clang. Zoro sliced at her open stomach only to hear the sound of metal hitting metal. I get it, she's been using Busashuko Haki to harden her body and hands, making them as strong as steel. When she wasn't paying attention, Sanji attempted to sweep her legs out from underneath her. Normally he would never kick a woman, so he planned to resort to immobilize her without harming her. Jennifer, however, saw this coming and jumped backwards to avoid the cook's sweeping kick. She found herself parallel to the ground when it happened. Sace Fleur, suddenly 6 arms sprouted out of her body while she was in midair. 4 arms held her head while another 2 restrained her arms. Clutch. Teke, an iron body. Jennifer yelled milliseconds before the arms attempted to snap her neck. She didn't use Haki? Zoro wondered why. Thud. She fell to the ground right on top of the archaeologist's arms, causing said woman to lose focus, letting Jennifer go. Jennifer stood back up and cracked her neck. Thunder trap. Jennifer now noticed that she was standing between 3 black clouds. Crack. Lightning shot out of the clouds and struck her where she stood. Did that work? Nami asked as she stepped forward. I don't think so, Zoro said. Look. Sure enough, Jennifer was still standing, though this time her entire body was black. Her hands looked like claws. And her braid appeared to move, so now she appeared to have an ancient Greek war helmet on her head, complete with the plume. In short, she looked like an ancient Greek warrior female. To force me to use my full body armor, I am impressed, but the fun has to end now, she said as she dropped into a handstand and began to spin. Suddenly the heels on her boots elongated until they were both about the same length as Zoro's katana Rankaiku Ringu. She released a circular wave of compressed air out from where she was. Ripiru. Soon an armada of ring blades flew out at the pirates. Clang. Zoro, being a boss, took the attack head on. Nami dropped to the ground while Robin vanished into a bunch or petals. Sanji, on the other hand, leaped completely over the attack and was right above Jennifer. Brochette. He yelled as he dropped downwards while spinning like a drill towards spear his opponent with his extended leg. Sensing him, Jennifer stopped her attack and jumped out of the way, deactivating her armor in the process. Cuerpo Fleur, Robin's voice said as 2 of her bloomed out of the momentarily distracted Jennifer. One wrong move and I'll finish you. Now where is Naruto? Robin asked in a deadly serious tone. I already told you he's with my co-workers, but you will never reach them. And why is that? Sanji asked. Cause I'll be dead within a short amount of time. What? All 4 pirates asked, demanded. Suddenly, as if on cue, all 4 of them began to cough and collapse to the ground, clutching their chests, desperately trying to catch their breaths. What's going on? Why is it getting so hard to breathe? Nami asked. Have you noticed the slight fog surrounding us? Now that she mentioned it, there was a slight fog. That is what I like to call carbon monoxide gas. I get it now, Zoro said as he propped himself up with Kitetsu 3. It wasn't Haki, it was a devil fruit you used to harden your body. That's correct, I ate the cabin no mi carbon fruit. It allows me to generate and manipulate carbon that comes from my body. When arranged properly, it can be as strong as diamond or as weak as graphite. I can also release it into the air, allowing it to mingle with existing elements in the atmosphere, and since my body is immune to it, I am the only person on Earth who can breathe such gases. Since you are going to die anyway, I might as well tell you I am a member of the government's elite assassin team, CP0. We have all the same privileges as CP9 except for one thing. We can call down a buster call without the need of an admiral's golden transponder snail. Damn. One by one each pirate fell to the ground, unable to breathe anymore, and passed into unconsciousness. Jennifer got up and walked over towards Robin. I'm sure the director will be very pleased when we even return with Nico. Robin, she said as SH slapped a pair of sea stone handcuffs on her and carried her towards her comrades. Damn. One by one each pirate fell to the ground, unable to breathe anymore, and passed into unconsciousness. Jennifer got up and walked over towards Robin. I'm sure the director will be very pleased when we even return with Nico. Robin, she said as she slapped a pair of sea stone handcuffs on her and carried the archaeologist towards her comrades. Cough cough. Nami forced herself awake. It was still very difficult to breathe with the carbon monoxide fog surrounding them. With great difficulty she disconnected a section of her sorcery Climadact and begun to twirl it slowly. Cough breeze cough tempo. A breeze came out of the staff section, dispersing the carbon monoxide fog, just in time to any longer and they would be suffering permanent brain damage or worse, death. Both men from the monster trio pushed themselves up to their knees, still struggling to catch their breath. Damn that bitch, Zoro said as he propped himself up. She was so cruel, Sanji cried, but she was so hot. She took Robin, Nami said. What? Hold on, Robin Schwan, your knight in shining armor shall save you. Sanji bellowed as he stood up, only to collapse back to the ground. Hold still and catch your breath, Sanji-kun, Nami said. I only just got rid of the fog. So what do we do now? Zoro asked. Rest, then we go after them, Nami said. Suddenly there was a rustling in the trees behind them. Crash, Ra, a figure roared as he burst through the trees. Where's Naruto? He yelled. Oh, it's just you. Rubber shithead, Sanji said as he lit a new cigarette. Luffy, Nami yelled. Oh hey guys, what are you doing here? Luffy asked. We were attacked by a government agent. Zoro said. Luffy's expression hardened at that comment. The worst part is they got Robin, Schwan and Naruto, Sanji said. Where are they? Luffy demanded. They went that way, Luffy, Nami said as she pointed after the assassin. Wait here, I'll get them back, Luffy said as he raced after Jennifer. Apollo and Shakian sat by the small boat they came in, waiting for Jennifer. Naruto was tied and gagged in the boat. Where the hell is she? Shakian wondered. Relax, Shakian, our mission is a success, Apollo said as he chugged down a bottle of scotch. Even if someone were to find us, they would be hopelessly outmatched. Not only that, but I got us a little something extra, a new voice said. Huh? Both men turned towards the voice and saw Jennifer walk out through the trees carrying what appeared to be another person. About time you got here, bitch, Shakian said. What, did those people actually pose a challenge? Very funny, Shakian. If you must know, the brat is apparently a member of the Straw Hat Pirates. What? Interesting, Apollo commented. It appears we have made enemies of the Straw Hat Pirates. They aren't as strong as the rumors say. I defeated 4 of them by myself and even captured Nico Robin. I call shenanigans, Shakian said, raising his hand in protest. Are you doubting me? Jennifer growled. Yes, since not even CP9 could defeat them, I highly doubt you could beat 4 on your own. Your power level is only 2300. Tell that to their bodies. I bet you 100 belly you didn't even kill them. They are probably getting back up right now and are heading right this way. You're on, she said, shaking his hand. They were breathing carbon monoxide in large quantities while they fought me. Jennifer, I do believe Shakian is correct. You do rely heavily on your devil fruit powers, the old man butted in. I don't recall you using Teke or Kami-e that much. During our training sessions you use the other 4 arts more often, and when you do you back them up with your abilities. So what would happen if you had sea stone cuffs clapped on you? I'll manage. Ha, I'll bet you 2 million belly that you can't go one day without using your powers in a fight, Shakian said. If that makes you happy, I'll take that bet. While the 3 assassins argued, Naruto opened his eyes. At first he had no idea where he was, but soon noticed he was on a small boat and he wasn't alone. Robin was lying down next to him. Her body seemed to be relatively unresponsive. Where the hell are we? He said to Kurama. I think we are being held hostage, kid. What makes you say that? You really don't understand sarcasm, do you? Whatever, let's kick these guys' asses and go home. I couldn't agree more. Now how do I get out of you so I can fight with my powers? You really think I know how that works? No, but I can't imagine it being too hard. Seriously, we've seen Luffy, Robin and Chopper use their powers easily. How hard could it be? Hey you. Who are you and why did you kidnap Robin and me? Naruto yelled at the assassins, alerting them to his presence. What the hell is he thinking? He could have stayed quiet and just practiced in silence trying to get these powers to work. Kurama thought to himself, I guess if this doesn't work it'll all fall to me to save the day. It appears that one of our guests is awake, Apollo said. Remember, Jennifer, if this kid tries to fight back you can't use your powers, otherwise you owe me 2 million belly. Jennifer just stared at the boy in silence. Did he know he ate a powerful devil fruit? Does he know how to use its power? Either way, this may not be easy for her. I asked you a question. Does it really matter who we are? But if you must know, we work for the government, and as for why we are taking you, let's just say you 2 are valuable assets to the government. Rah! Naruto yelled as he charged the assassins. He didn't like these guys. They had basically called him and Robin tools for their own plans, whatever they were. He really didn't want to find out. Inside the whiteness of their shared mind, Kurama began to meditate. Got to figure out how these powers work, at least the foxfire, and getting out of here. I'll worry about transforming later. He thought with a perverted grin and a heavy blush as a small trail of blood trickled down his nose. No, bad Kurama, this is not the time to be thinking about that. he said as he hit himself on the head. Naruto first charged at Apollo thinking he was the best target to start with. Kami, Apollo said as he let himself go limp like paper. Naruto threw a barrage of punches and kicks at the old man, but to his surprise he was dodging them all. Wham! A fist came out of nowhere and nailed the blonde in the head and throwing him several meets back. Don't forget kid, you are fighting 3 people here. Naruto pushed himself back up. A trail of blood trickled down his forehead. That one hurt. I bet it did, Shakiyan said Soru. He vanished and reappeared right in front of the blonde and grabbed him by the throat. Creak! Naruto felt his windpipe being crushed. He coughed up a bit of blood. Crash! Shakiyan slammed Naruto into the ground. The director said he wanted you alive, though he never said we had to keep you unhurt. He grabbed a fistful of blonde hair and hoisted Naruto back up. Wham! He slammed the poor boy's head against his knee, breaking the kid's nose. You are so weak, he said as he threw Naruto to the side. Damn, Naruto thought I can't give up. Robin is in trouble. The boy forced himself to stand back up. Cough cough. He spat up more blood. Damn, it's hard to breathe. You still want more? Shakiyan asked sarcastically. Concentrate. Picture myself as a human 9-tailed fox hybrid, Naruto thought to himself as Shakiyan advanced. Damn it, Naruto, just fight him with what you know. Worry about transforming and using my abilities later. Huh? Alright, Naruto said as he put his hands into a familiar hand sign. This gesture caught the assassins off guard for a split second. Shadow Clone Jutsu, he yelled as 200 Narutos poofed into existence. Never made that many before. Rah, the clonus yelled as they charged. Unknown to the assassins, Naruto had 2 clonus help him form 2 spheres of chakra in his hands. Suddenly Apollo jumped in front of the charging clonus and held his staff in a thrusting position. Shigan-Q break shot. He yelled as he thrust the staff forward. Shunt poof! He punched a hole through the first clone, tearing straight through it when the staff smacked the second clone in the chest, throwing him back into the rest of the clonus, scattering them all and dispelling most if not all of them. Through the smoke from the clonus, Naruto charged, both arms cocked back. Take this. Rasengan. Teke. Shakiyan yelled just before Naruto slammed the blue spheres into his stomach. The force of the attack slid Shakiyan back about a meter and shredded his shirt and jacket. Other than that, there was no visible damage on the skin. I don't get it, that should have torn a hole right through you. If it's any consolation, you did ruin my coat and shirt. The assassin replied, if I hadn't used my haki, you probably would have torn a hole through me. Chink! A chain suddenly wrapped itself around Naruto. What the? He collapsed to his knees as if all his energy was being sapped away. Struggle all you want, Jennifer said. Those are sea stone chains. They are as strong as diamond and they seal away the powers of the devil fruit, so don't even try, you'll only hurt yourself. Damn it, Jennifer, I was going to show him something cool. Call it cool all you want, it isn't all that impressive. While those two were fuming, Apollo appeared behind Naruto and quickly chopped the back of his neck, knocking the already weak boy out. Let's get out of here before more of them show up, he said as he tossed Naruto into the boat right on top of Robin's lap. Agreed. Crash! Rah! A figure roared as he burst through the trees. Where are Naruto and Robin? He yelled. About time you showed up, idiot. Huh? Naruto said, looking up. Oh, it's just Luffy. He laid back down into unconsciousness. Luffy stared down the assassins, right hand holding down his head as a breeze came by, rustling it. Which one of you messed with my crew? He asked, deadly serious. That would be me, Jennifer said. If you're referring to the blonde brat in the boat, that was me, Shakiyan said. I guess that means I'm gonna have to kick your asses. Careful you two, that straw hat Luffy, Apollo said. Don't you know the things he's done? Doesn't matter who he is or what he's done, we are still stronger than him, Jennifer said confidently. Thwack! Luffy suddenly appeared in front of her and kicked her right in the head, knocking her to the ground, blood trickling down the corner of her mouth and forehead. Apollo and Shakiyan were slightly stunned by his speed. It was as fast if not faster than theirs. Whap! Luffy wrapped his legs around Apollo's midsection and arms, preventing him from moving. Gomu Gomu no hammer, Luffy yelled as he slammed Apollo headfirst into the ground. The poor old man had his head and shoulders buried in the ground. Damn you! Shakiyan yelled as he cupped his hands back into a tiger palm. Tobu Shigen Ten. He threw his hands forward so fast that each finger shot a small bullet of compressed air at Luffy. But he didn't stop at just 10, he kept them coming. Barrage. Luffy just stood there and let the bullets fly at him. To Shakiyan it looked as though Luffy was swaying back and forth as he dodged every single bullet as he began to charge forward. Gomu Gomu no, Luffy said as he threw his right arm back and turned it. Black bullet. Thud! He punched Shakiyan right in the solar plexus, throwing him into the boat crash. Damn, he's strong, Shakian said as he got back up. Apollo and Jennifer also got back up, though they didn't say anything. Is that all you got? Ponytail, mohawk, geezer. Luffy suddenly tensed and jumped back just in time to dodge a claymore that buried itself up to the hilt where he was just standing. Boom! A new figure crashed between the two parties. He stood up and pulled the claymore out of the earth with little effort. He then sheathed it on his back and stared down Luffy. The man wore a completely black suit with a dark green tie. He had black hair cut in a military style and he had a beard just like one Tony Stark. Who are you? Luffy asked. Oh shit, Apollo said. It's Grim, Jennifer finished. Is that all you got? Ponytail, mohawk, geezer. Luffy suddenly tensed and jumped back just in time to dodge a claymore that buried itself up to the hilt where he was just standing. Boom! A new figure crashed between the two parties. He stood up and pulled the claymore out of the earth with little effort. He then sheathed it on his back and stared down Luffy. The man wore a completely black suit with a dark green tie. He had black hair cut in a military style and he had a beard just like one Tony Stark. Who are you? Luffy asked. Oh shit, Apollo said. It's Grim, Jennifer finished. Grim glared at the rubber pirate, his eyes cold and calculating. What the hell are you doing here, Grim? Shakian asked. I'm here to clean up your mess on the director's orders. Grim said, take the prisoners and leave before I kill you and Nico Robin. What do you mean by that? Jennifer asked, startled. The director told to just bring the boy back alive and unspoiled and no one else. You three are on your own. Oi, who are you? Luffy asked. You wanna fight? Whip, blam blam blam. Grim suddenly appeared in front of Luffy and attempted to skewer him with 3 fast shigun. Whoa! Luffy dodged barely, though he knew that kind of attack would not work on him. Stamp, he yelled as he kicked Grim, but he blocked it with his arms. Who I am is irrelevant to you, Straw Hat. All you need to know is that you will never see those two again. I won't let you take them. Give them back, he yelled. Whip whack. Luffy appeared right in front of Grim and kicked him right in the head. The force of the kick was enough to send Grim into several trees. Kamisori, Grim suddenly shot at Luffy like a missile. Unlike a regular Soru which moves in a straight line, this attack had Grim maneuvering around Luffy by pushing off of the air. Though it was difficult to see, Luffy noticed Grim's hands turn black when he delivered 2 fast punches to Luffy's chest and head before thwack he brutally kicked him square in the chest, sending the young pirate back into the forest. Alright, let's get out of here, Shakian said as he, Apollo and Jennifer got in the boat and shoved off. Rara. Luffy threw the debris off of himself as he got back up. He set himself into a crouch and placed his hands on his knees. Bloop bloop. 2 bulges appeared on his legs before they shot into his chest, causing it to expand and contract slightly. FSS steam appeared from all over his body as he placed his right fist on the ground. Gear second, Luffy yelled, looking up. Gear what? Grim asked. Whip. Luffy disappeared and reappeared right in front of Grim. Oh shit. Jet pistol, boom. Luffy yelled as he punched Grim in the face at point blank range. The assassin was shot out over the water from the punch, but he wasn't out yet. Swoop, he yelled as the sword on his back began to shake. Screech. A piercing screech tore through Luffy's ears and he covered them with his hands. Whoosh! Something flew by the young pirate at incredible speed, knocking him away with an aftershock. Whoa! Luffy cried as he ducked away after it made a second pass. You are stronger than I thought, Straw Hat. Grim said, I shall reward you with a quick death by my sword. Luffy turned towards Grim's voice and was met with an interesting sight. Grim was hovering in the air. No, he wasn't using the technique Jeppo, instead he had 2 massive wings coming off his back. They were reptile-like wings, dark green skin color with black on the main body part. If Grim wasn't trying to kill him, Luffy would probably be starry-eyed and completely lost in how awesome it would be to have wings. Screech again. The piercing sound assaulted Luffy's eardrums. Getting a better look, Luffy saw a reptilian head peeking over Grim's shoulder. It had a long beak and a crest on top of its head. Upon further inspection, one would realize that the wings were growing out of it, not Grim. What the heck is that? Luffy asked. Meet my sword. Swoop. Grim said he at the Kyokyo no Mi model pterodactyl. Whoosh! Grim and his sword charged Luffy once more. Now die. Back at the Thousand Sunny, the other 4 Straw Hats got back together. So you two didn't find them either? Usopp asked Frankie and Chopper. No, Luffy and Naruto were nowhere to be found on the south side, Frankie said. What about Nami and Sanji and Zoro and Robin? Chopper asked. They've been gone too long. Chopper-san, can't you smell them? Brook asked. No, there are too many smells on the island, I can't distinguish theirs. If Nami or Robin were to put some perfume on, I would be able to find them by following that disgusting smell, the little reindeer said. So in all honest, nobody knows where they are, Usopp asked. Boom! A loud explosion noise was heard and all three turned towards the source. Northwest of their location, a giant fist burst through the trees. There's Luffy, all of them thought. Luffy's fighting someone, Frankie said. Let's go help them, Usopp said. If Luffy's fighting, I bet we'll find the others there as well. With that, the four pirates headed for the northwestern shore. Back with Luffy and Grim, the two fighters seemed to be evenly matched. Luffy threw a massive fist at Grim, who dodged the attack. Swoop transformed back into a sword as Grim reached for it. Rah! He yelled as he attempted to slice off Luffy's giant arm. Whoosh! The air left Luffy's giant fist. FSS Luffy re-engaged his gear second as his right arm retracted. Gomu Gomu no, Luffy said. Jet pistol, he shouted as he fired 3 punches from his right hand. Whip boom strike 1, whip boom strike 2, whip boom. Grim dodged all 3 with Soru midair. Kamisori, he shouted as once again he charged Luffy, moving at high speed. Clang! Luffy intercepted the sword swing with the black arm. He grabbed Grim with his other arm and threw his head back. Gomu Gomu no Kane, when Luffy slammed his head against Grim, throwing the assassin back. Grim was impressed. He had never been pushed like this by anyone else, not even the other members of CP0 were able to push him this far in a fight. Suddenly he felt something wet trickle down his forehead and onto his lips. He wiped away at it and looked at his hand to see what the mysterious liquid was. His eyes widened in shock. It was blood. Grim was bleeding for the first time since he became an assassin for the government. To think that this pirate made me bleed is truly unbelievable. He thought. Well done in wounding me, Straw Hat, he said. Thwack! Luffy kicked Grim, but the assassin dodged. It has been fun. As a reward, I will show you something truly frightening, he said as his body began to shake and grow in size. What? Luffy asked, shocked as Grim began to transform. His body grew until it stood at a staggering 18 feet tall. His skin became covered in dark green scales. The muscles throughout his body grew at least 3 times their original size. His hands and feet turned into razor-sharp claws. A tail grew out of his lower back while his teeth grew more pointed. Grim's eyes turned yellow and reptilian as he grew. Grim ate Kyokyo no Mi model Allosaurus. The monster spoke, makes me Dino Man. Even the claymore, Swoop, grew in size to match him while it remained sheathed on his back. Me destroy you now, Grim said as he once again charged Luffy. Whip Boblam! Grim blitzed Luffy, stabbing his sharp claw finger through the young pirate completely. Ack! Luffy said as he coughed up some blood. Seriously, you would do it too if you had a hole through your stomach. Chomp! Grim bit Luffy on the right shoulder and part of his neck. He spun around really fast before brutally throwing Luffy, from his jaw, into a cliff. Me no like using this form. Makes me feel different, the assassin said as he towered over Luffy. Grr! Luffy growled. Whip FSS! He quickly moved inside Grim's guard, left arm cocked back, steaming and twisted. Gomu Gomu no jet rifle. Tekeyatsuji, the Dino Man said as he puffed out his chest to take the attack. Wham! Crack! The sound of bones cracking were heard as Luffy's fist was knocked back. Odd. Luffy screamed in pain. The bones in his left arm were cracked or broken from that counter-attack. We end this now, Straw Hat, Grim said as he picked up Luffy over his head so his back was facing the ground. Sheen! Grim's right knee turned black and shiny. What break first? Spirit or body? He brought Luffy down, crack right onto his hockey-imbued knee. Odd! Luffy screamed in pain as his back was broken by the Dino Man. Grim tossed Luffy to the ground and turned back into a human. That was fun, Straw Hat, he said. Grip! Suddenly Luffy grabbed Grim's ankle with his right hand. I won't let you take them, the bloodied pirate said. I'll save them even if it kills me. I have already beaten you and the chances for your survival are slim, he said as he raised his other foot. Stomp! Crack! Og! Luffy screamed as Grim broke the bones in his hand. Die in agony, Straw Hat, Grim said as Swoop transformed for Grim to ride. Farewell. Flop flop flop! The pterodactyl flew away with the assassin back to their base. Noak! Luffy tried to yell but he coughed up more blood. The young pirate tried to crawl after Grim with no success. Not far away, Nami, Zoro and Sanji were moving as fast as they could towards their captain. His screams of pain really worried them. When they got to the shore they were met with a grisly sight. Their captain laid there on the ground, bloodied, beaten and broken. His skin was pale as a fresh snowfall while his right hand and left arm were broken. The hardest things to look at were the hole in his stomach and the large bite mark on his right shoulder, which were slowly creating a pool of blood. Luffy, Nami screamed as she ran to her fallen captain. Out of fear that he was dead, Nami slowly placed her ear on his chest. Thank God that he could still hear his heart beating, though it was very slow. Nami, the young man asked. Tears began to trickle down his face. Sanji, go find the others and bring them here now. Especially Chopper, the navigator ordered. Right away, Nami-san, the cook said without his usual love cook self. Using the basic medical knowledge that she had, Nami quickly used Luffy's sash and shirt to stop the bleeding on his stomach and shoulder respectively. All the while she had tears streaming down her face. When she reached around his back, she was met with a very unnerving feature. Several of his vertebrae were out of place. I couldn't save them, Nami, Luffy cried as she finished closing off the wounds. It's okay, Luffy. We'll get them back, don't you worry. Right now we need to help you. Zoro looked around the battlefield looking for any signs of Naruto and Robin. Though he didn't find any, he did find something just as interesting, an eternal pose to a place called GX. He reached down and picked up the pose. That has got to be where they were taken. Nami flinched slightly when Zoro touched her shoulder. Hey Nami, check this out. He said as he handed the eternal pose to her. One of those guys must have dropped it. See Luffy, we know where they will be going, Nami said to her captain as she showed him the eternal pose. That dino guy. What? Nami and Zoro asked, not sure what he was talking about. That dino guy is mine. There is no way that I'll lose to him again, Luffy said confidently. Even though they didn't know who this dino man was, it was likely that he was part of the CP0. Ah, Luffy. Chopper screamed as he came out of the forest running towards the rubber captain. What happened? Oh hey Chopper. Luffy said cheerfully as Nami propped chest. I got into a fight, that's all, he said as Chopper scanned over his injuries. That's all? The reindeer screamed. Luffy, you have a broken arm, hand, 4 displaced vertebra, a hole through your stomach and a log, a bite mark on your shoulder. I'll be fine, Chopper, all I need is some meat. Luffy grinned. Chopper, where are the others? Zoro asked. They went to get the Sunny and bring her here, he said. Alright, listen Luffy, during our 2 years of training I discovered a plant that can heal just about any physical wound. Good news is it can heal the bite, hand, arm and hole in about 3 hours. The bad news is I have to set your back manually, otherwise you'll be out of commission for the next month or so. Chopper said as he finished casting Luffy's hand and arm. I didn't know there was a plant like that, Nami said. I know. I was sure surprised when I learned about it. I got really lucky too since it grew only on the island I was sent to, Chopper said. Luckily I always carried them with me just for emergencies. The reindeer reached into his backpack and pulled out a small bean. Get ready Luffy, this is going to be very painful. Bring it on. Luffy said, opening his mouth ready for the hell that would be healing. They went to get the Sunny and bring her here, he said. Alright, listen Luffy, during our 2 years of training I discovered a plant that can heal just about any physical wound. Good news is it can heal the bite, hand, arm and hole in about 3 hours. The bad news is I have to set your back manually, otherwise you'll be out of commission for the next month or so. Chopper said as he finished casting Luffy's hand and arm. I didn't know there was a plant like that, Nami said. I know. I was sure surprised when I learned about it. I got really lucky too since it grew only on the island I was sent to, Chopper said. Luckily I always carried them with me just for emergencies. The reindeer reached into his backpack and pulled out a small bean. Get ready Luffy, this is going to be very painful, bring it on. Luffy said, opening his mouth ready for the hell that would be healing. Zoro, hold him up, I need to reset his back before I give him the bean. The reindeer said as he transformed into his heavy point. You got it Chopper, he said as he hoisted Luffy up. Alright, here we go. Chopper said as he cocked his fist back. So what are you gonna do Chopper, are you gonna gently pop my back? And whim, Chopper punched Luffy in the back as hard as he could. Alright, his back is in place now, Chopper said, turning little again. Open wide Luffy, he said, pulling out the bean. Ah, Luffy said as he opened his mouth. Quickly Chopper shoved the bean into his captain's mouth, and manually made Luffy chew and swallow it. How do you feel Luffy? Nami, I don't feel any different Chopper. Didn't you say that would heal him quickly? I said it would take 2 hours to fully heal you, but it should start in 3, 2, 1, Luffy said, shocked as his body began to heal at an unnatural pace. Since his arm and hand were in casts, the bones were growing back together in the proper way while the hole and bite began to close themselves. A shadow passed over their heads, forcing the 4 Straw Hats to look up in slight curiosity. Thank Oda it was only the Thousand Sunny. Splash! The Thousand Sunny splashed down next to Luffy, Zoro, Nami and Chopper. Nami Swan, I am so glad you are safe, Sanji yelled as he got off the ship. Luffy, Usopp screamed seeing his captain. Luffy-san, Brook echoed Luffy. Frankie said, hey guys, the rubber pirate replied. What's up, Luffy? Where is Robin Chuan? Sanji asked demanded. What about Naruto? The others asked what happened. Luffy-san, Brook asked. Sorry guys, but I got beaten, Luffy said, scratching the back of his head with his right hand. That was when you stopped. Brook and Frankie noticed the casts and bandaged. There was this dino guy and he caught me off guard. How badly did he beat you? Usopp asked. Well, according to Chopper, he broke Luffy's back, arm, hand, put a hole through him and bit his shoulder, Nami interjected. After a few minutes the whole crew knew the situation. Naruto and Robin were taken by a government assassination team called CP0. Among them were at least 2 powerful devil fruit users, perhaps more. Luckily for them, what they could assume was their base of operations. So what's the plan, Captain? Are Naruto and Robin with those bastards? Zoro asked. Hell no, Luffy said, we are going after them. As he stood up to catch him. Easy Luffy, you aren't fully healed yet, the navigator said as she helped him up. Hey Chop. Miracle Bean to work faster. Into his stuff. Effects would have taken place almost immediately, but there would have been a huge drawback. And what nutrition it requires for direct healing would kill Luffy before it even started. Chopper said time, by chewing it up it has a better chance to be evenly distributed. Chopper sand around that problem. Well, I do have a hypothesis, but I never got to testing it. What is it? Zoro constantly eat enormous amounts of food to supply the proper amount of nutrients while his body is slightly frozen to slow down the bean's consumption. In theory, heal any wound extremely quickly, including severed limbs. Chopper, it sounds like you found your miracle cure. Sanji said. Illnesses. Chopper said it doesn't work like that for some reason. That doesn't mean I've given up. I know this bean is the key to healing every disease. All the pirates smiled at the reindeer's determination. Ahem, Nami coughed to get their attention. The guys turned over. She was hanging on her right shoulder. If you guys are done, we have to go now. Let's go, Luffy yelled, throwing his right arm into the air. With that, the Straw Hat Pirates, of the ones that kidnapped their nakama. Once ran line anyway, the village of Konoha was in an uproar. Not only was there nine-tailed fox, at least its mindless chakra, but the entire Namikaze family was in the hospital, including Jiraiya of the Sannin. The patriarch and matriarch of said family weren't in any serious condition, but their daughter, the pride and savior of the entire village, was in far worse condition. Currently we find Jiraiya sitting just outside his student's room. Several bandages are on his face and his left arm and right leg were cast up. He was pondering what he had seen within Natsume's seal. Whatever it was powerful and definitely not human. According to the figure, it was the devil himself. Why would Ayu be from Natsume? She needed that power in order to protect the village. And now that she didn't have it, the village was at a huge disadvantage in military power. Their own with his spy network as well as possible peace treaties. Minato sat upright in bed thinking about the same thing that Jiraiya was. How was he going to protect the village? One possibility that he thought about was to propose arranged marriages with the 4 other main countries: wind, water, lightning and earth. He knew that female family members that were available: the 3rd Tsuchikage's granddaughter, Kuratsuchi, the 4th Kaizokage's daughter, Temari, the 4th Reikage's niece, Yujito, and the 4th Mizukage's sister, Mei. In theory he could set it up with the same constraints he had set with the Kyuja. If he fine, and if he couldn't he would be screwed royally. Jiraiya, he called as his sensei hobbled in. What is it, Minato? I have alright, let's hear it out. First, promise me you will not tell Kushina. If she knew, she would kill me, I promise. I want 4 other nations, each one proposing an arranged marriage between my son and their respective female family members for when my son turns 18. Minato have no idea where he is. Just have them say he's on a training trip. I don't find him, there will be hell to pay, right? Jiraiya said, it's a risk I am willing to take. Minato said, besides, how many countries could he be hiding in anyway? Minato, you know there are more than 15 nations he could be in. You did say you saw him get on a ship, right? Yeah, but unique ship. So all you have to do is ask if anyone has seen that ship. Minato. One tiny detail. Minato, navigational tools stop working after a certain distance. You end up guarantee success in reaching your destination. Still, I guess that could work, but convincing him to come back will be difficult. Jiraiya, I finally understand how badly I know we wronged him, but he's just a child. All he needed was to blow off some steam. When you find him, so we can be a family again. So it took the Kyuubi being removed from Natsumi to show you how badly you screwed up. No, I shortly after Kushina left me. As much as I want her back in my Naruto, but her as well, so until I can forgive myself I will not try to get her back. That's sorry for what you did. Go ahead. Why haven't you corrected the villagers about their treatment of Naruto? It was for me to fix. Even if they claim to want to despise him since they believe that he's been possessed since day one. The Hokage said when they learn that they've been praising a bomb and scorning an innocent child. I don't think they did anything wrong. It is true that they become possessed. But Sarutobi-sensei used the dead demon-consuming seal to seal the chakra and soul into Natsumi and Naruto respectively. Jiraiya said that seal is supposed to be unbreakable. All have weaknesses, Jiraiya-sensei, you should know that. So who's gonna tell Natsumi she's no longer the Jinchuriki? The sage asked. I will. Minato said if news rather well. Why do you say that? She's been a relative disaster since I could remember. I think the chakra was negatively influencing her. When Sarutobi separated the soul and chakra, he thought that by removing the soul he also removed the negative influence on Natsumi, allowing her full control without the problem of falling to the fox's hatred. What really happened must have been that the fox's hatred was connected with its chakra, not the soul as we thought. So you're saying that influence on her? Exactly, Minato said. By the way, how are Kushina and the baby doing? From what out of that relatively unscathed. She's sleeping in the next room now. That's good to know. Have the tell me when Natsumi or Kushina wake up. I want to talk to both of them when they do. In the next room, Kushina was tossing and turning around. She saw herself standing on some kind of bridge. In front, in an orange jumpsuit. On his face was a skull. Naruto-kun, don't call me that bitch. He said you lost. Oh, I'm sorry, Naruto-kun. She cried. I'm so sorry for what I've done to you. I don't care for your apology. She looked up at change anything. Did you even bother trying to look for me, or did you just replace me? Replace you? I would never. And what you call? Did you wait until you got knocked up? A month? A week? Oh, I know, an hour. At this point the redhead was in tears. She couldn't say anything anymore. When suddenly another two figures appeared. She couldn't make out what they looked like, but they were obviously male and female. They called his name. Now if you'll excuse me, my family is calling me, he said, turning towards them and began to walk away. Naruto. She sending her spiraling into the darkness. The shock of falling woke her up. Tears. Naruto ran away. Should they ever meet again, would he see the child in her womb as his replacement? Would he despise her, Minato, Natsumi, and everyone else in the village? If she never saw him again, she wondered who was raising him, who was being there for him when he needed it. Was he really adopted him? Naruto, wherever you are, I hope that my dreams of you are not true. I hope you will forgive me, even if not right away. I will make it up to you. Achoo. Naruto sneezed himself awake. Bless you, Apollo said. Thanks, Naruto said before he realized, wait, I take that back. Too already thanked Apollo. Shakian said, quiet all of you. A new figure said, Grim, I apologize for these two idiots. Jennifer said, just be quiet. I have to GX, thanks again. Who knows? Will kill you, you feline-faced freak. Shakian remained quiet for the rest of the trip. You really are a good man, Grim. Jennifer said, you do realize I am a reptile, right? He shot back. So you killed Straw Hat, Grim-san? Apollo up to listen carefully. Don't know. Odds are he is dead though. The assassin said he wouldn't have lasted long with those injuries. Luffy's to himself shocked. The assassins didn't hear him but someone else did. Robin leaned in and whispered into the blonde's ear, he's not dead. It would take way more than X in 1 hour, Grim said as he looked forward off the bow. Marine base Straw Hat Grim-san, Apollo asked, causing Naruto and Robin, who had just woken up, to listen carefully. Don't know. Odds are he is dead though. The assassin dead, Naruto whispered to himself shocked. The assassins whispered into the blonde's ear, he's not dead. It would take way more than that to kill him. Get ready. Forward off the bow. 1 hour later the small boat found itself approaching a large structure sitting on the water. A large standing at 100 feet tall, it had an equally large gate. The gate had a set of bronze elephants adorning the structure. A top could be found pointing outward. Much the only exception being next to the right door and the symbol of the government next to the left. Inside the wall was weird but open water. The platform was large enough to hold the 20,000 men and women that operated the space. The cross behind it. There were quite a few sentries and gardens on the platform. There was room for 4 battleships to maneuver freely even with the docks in place, so long as they weren't full-sized ships. A wide hall with stairs connecting them to the main courtyard. Contrary to what it looked like, the platform extended below the surface with an elevator to a chamber that sat 100 meters below the surface in the middle of 4 large supports that held up the entire base. 4 connections connected the chamber to the supports. The final features of this fortress were 3 towers located opposite of the gate. The center almost exactly like the old Tower of Law on Ennis Lobby. The key differences being the letters GX in place of Ennis Lobby, and the top of the tower resembled a more feudal Japan castle look. Flanking them 2 smaller cylindrical towers. The 2 smaller towers were connected to the main tower by bridges. There was about those 2 towers except for the triple cannons atop each one. This is Marine Base GX, the headquarters of Cypher Pole Zero. Who goes there? A voice transpired called back. Once the gates opened, the small ship passed through and docked. The assassins got off the ship with Apollo and Shakion carrying the prisoners. You do realize we can walk, right? Naruto asked. Kid, stop complaining, be grateful and consider this a free ride. Kurama said. For the last 2 hours, Fuzzball, I am sorry but I was busy practicing my abilities. Kurama said. Flashback inside the mindscape. Thanks to the sea stone chains, Kurama was once again behind bars. The good news was he could still use his DF powers as long as he didn't touch the bars. Well, seeing as with the abilities I apparently had forever and never knew about. First ability, transformation. Not too hard. Seen many people pull a henge no jutsu. How hard could it be? After 10 minutes of concentrating, Kurama's form began to ripple and shrink. He changed from a massive 9-tailed fox into a with red hair, red eyes with black rings around them. His teeth were slightly sharper. His ears on his cheeks. Now the fun began. His body changed. Tone it always was. I'll focus on changing my voice later, he sighed as he put his hands into a hand sign. Transform, he yelled as his body once again began to ripple until suddenly poof, smoke came out of nowhere. Once it cleared, Kurama now was in the form of one hot navigator. He chug. My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and they're like, it's better than yours. Damn right it's better than yours. I can. Jiggled his breasts. God, I about his transformations was that they required no chakra to use and they were impossible for anyone to see through. Though it see, copying? Can't do that by myself. Illusions? Nah, I need a victim. Fox his foxfire, for 2 hours of practice being able to generate the flames was rather impressive. Kurama managed to breathe out the flames as well as generate them on his hands and forehead. I guess that's good enough for now, the bijou said. I wonder how Naruto and the rest are doing. End flash. Slug you fuzzball. Back Grim-san, Jennifer-chan, Shakion-san, and Apollo-san. A government employee said the director is waiting for you in his office. He said to bring the prisoners. Let's go, Grim said as he. Director of CP0 had just watched Grim and the others return. Excellent. They captured Nico Robin as well as the brat that ate my devil fruit. He took a sip of his coffee, unfortunately. His chest. Yeah. Damn. Damn, that's hot. Watching the scene unfold, members of CP0 watched their director dance around like a baboon. How long were you sitting there? For this is like armor on the shoulders, forearms, and greaves. He past his neck, he had a thin plant, like a long blade of grass, in his mouth and an eye patch going over his right eye. His name was Men on either side of him. Both were very tall. The larger, revealing his muscular chest and abs to the world. His name was Mission gonna be, I hope. Tie dress shirt, black bell-bottom pants, big headphones connected to a transponder snail in his pocket, aviators, and had a black afro. Do not grow. Old out of the 70s. His name was Francis. Oh yeah, he said, nodding his head on a 1, 2, 1, 2. Francis. 6-shooter pistols. He all blonde hair. Several strands of his hair hang out and covered his left eye. His name was Ling. Hey, Francis's headphones, knocking them off of his head. Hey, who killed the music? Then the hippie noticed his headphones. Scoop them up. Don't die on me, my children. You must live. I need my funky groove. Oh my god, Jet. Every time Francis's headphones broke. Would somebody get him a new pair, please? I can't stand his whining. The director said I was safe. Pair of headphones from his blazer. I guess it's worth it. He yelled in happiness. Director Spandam, we have returned, Grim said as he and his accompaniment entered the room. Our mission was a success. Naruto, you almost caused me a lot of trouble, brat, he said. And Nico Robin, so nice to see you again. Naruto and back again. Robin knew this guy, and the look on her face, they weren't on good terms last time. Oi, whoever you are, leave Robin out of this. Naruto. Then let Robin go. I can't. World, you're crazy. Naruto replied. And spoke up, just you wait, our friends are on their way here right now. The straw EP08 team I didn't even know existed until I was promoted. Besides, how can they find a patch of water here in the new world? What? Both Robin and Naruto made I her unless you have one of our special eternal poses. Shit. She yelled. What's wrong? Spandam asked. And nothing, director. Jennifer. That's a large problem. What are you talking about, Jennifer? It was you who dropped out eternal pose on that island. Shakion said. What? Spandam yelled, shocked. Oh, this would killed them, Grim. I only saw die yet, and I suffocated 3 others just before I captured Nico Robin. At this spoke up Jennifer. How exactly? With carbon monoxide doesn't that normally kill a person, only in large quantities, but I left them in a cloud of it. Did you see where I am going with this? Jet asked. Not at all. The other didn't kill them. If anything, she only hindered them. Grim said. Hats again, he thought to himself just when everything fell into place. Hell are they going to? I just got a great idea. He got up and turned to CP0. Alright, listen up. Spandam said, we know the Straw Hat. Let's prepare. He all GX personnel, the Straw Hat pirates are on their way here right now. The snails reported the prepare for their arrival, and kill them on sight. A little game for the Straw Hats, he said, holding up transponder snail. About 2 hours away from the base, the Thousand Sunny was going to speed towards the marine base. Alright guys, listen up, Nami said, slamming her hand down on the kitchen. As you know, we are about to engage in a rescue mission. Our goal is puppets for the government. The boys replied, remember your assignments, Frankie. You are gonna use the Gaon cannon to blast open and way for the Sunny to get in. Usopp, you will distract the Marines. Sanji and Chopper will do the same thing, except they will be using the shark sub. Luffy through the chaos. Once inside, we will separate and bust Robin and Naruto out. You all know your signals to give when you find them? Yeah, we know. Got it, everyone else said. Alright, let's see, Nami ordered. One by one. For this kind of occasion. Then she noticed Luffy was Nami. He whined, don't bug Nami me. She said, just barge in with no plan, even if you already agreed to one. That was sitting on Chopper's desk. Thanks Nami, he said, taking the package. Without war. What was that for? I know what you're thinking, Nami. He says here. For you always able to see the roots of a problem. You King's crew. Nami smiled at her captain. Alright Luffy, I'm gonna change now. Turn around, she seen you plenty of times before. He said. She yelled. And guys, this is the end. I hope you enjoyed. See you next time. Disappears in a maelstrom of